Kody really thinks Arella is funner than his grandkids. And yes, I'm fully aware funner isn't a word, but we'll just roll with it for now. The subtitle says grandparents, but listening to it, he clearly says grandkids, which, okay, fine, maybe the subtitle's wrong, but let's be real. How would Kody know? He hasn't been around his grandkids in ages, particularly not Maddie's kids since what? The oldest was like 2 or 3, and my Kelty's twin boys were just born, so based on that, it sounds more like Kobe's claiming Ariella is more fun than my Kelty's daughter. But that's definitely a stretch, isn't it? Honestly, I'm mostly just being petty here. But that comment bugged me, especially considering how little time Kody seems to spend with any of his grandkids. His ego couldn't handle that. David was claiming to be at a funner stage of life. News/Kody being a grandparent is way more fun than being a parent. My kids are 10 and 12, and trust me, it's all the good stuff without the stress. But of course, Kody takes everything so personally. And let's not forget, of course, Ariella seems funnier to him. Avalon and the twins are still babies, and he hasn't spent time with Maddie's kids in years. So how would he even know? Here's why that comment rubbed me the wrong way. One, my Kelty's kids are still toddlers and barely into the stage where they think their grandparent can do no wrong. Basically, Kody's dream scenario. 2 truly is somewhere in the room. Probably trying not to hear this whole exchange, but of course, Kody only mentions his 7-year-old grandkid in passing. I can't help but imagine how I'd feel if I was truly hearing my dad say that about another kid while ignoring me. Yeah, that would sting. And seriously, if David had mentioned something as simple as, hey, it's a nice day, Kody would have jumped in with, no, it's actually better when it's pouring rain. He can't even be civil enough to admit that, yes, being a grandparent is fun and less stressful, because God forbid Kody agree with David on anything. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel, Robyn. In her talking head goes on about how she doesn't think it's fair that Christine is still technically part of the family, but Robyn has no say in it. Apparently it's just a little too much for her to swallow. That Christine with her 6 kids with Kody will always be a part of the family whether Robyn likes it or not. And it's not like the kids are caught in some emotional tug of war between moms. The kids don't even want to deal with Robyn. So really, it's not a case of which mom they'll spend time with. They already made that decision. Let's not forget how Robyn herself went all out when she didn't get her way during the Christmas present drama and made it clear to my Kelty that she wanted nothing to do with the rest of the family. Yeah, that's the kind of behavior a shy, pretty wife should definitely be showing, right? Instead of playing it cool. Robyn's throwing around negative energy like it's no big deal. At the end of the day, it's clear Robyn is still jealous of Christine. And if we're being real, that's probably the real reason behind her comments. She's trying to convince herself that Christine and Janelle are still her sister wives because in her head, that's the ticket to the celestial kingdom. The logic. If they don't get releases, Robyn can pretend she'll live forever with Kody and their massive family in heaven. I mean, that's the whole reason women live this lifestyle, right? The religious aspect, Kody, on the other hand, is done with polygamy. He's too old and tired for it. Can't really blame him for that. But for Robyn, that's a problem because now she's starting to realize that she might never reach her coveted goddess status. Honestly, I never really thought about what that meant for Robyn. Always focused on Kody, not getting his planet. But it makes sense now. This is why Robyn's been pulling all her manipulative stunts. She strung Mary along, flipped out when Christine left, and keeps trying to guilt-trip Janelle into making it work. It's all about securing that celestial prize. They really thought they had the whole thing locked down because they made some agreement when they all entered the family. Kody and Robyn honestly thought the other wives would just stick around forever, tolerating all the mistreatment, because no one would ever break this sacred covenant and risk losing their chance at the celestial planet. Talk about delusional. Oh so, Kody thinks Robyn is shy. Really? That's the take. We've seen Robyn in action enough times to know. Shy is the last thing she is. She's not reserved. She's socially clueless. Her problem isn't being shy. It's that she has zero social skills and lets her anxiety control her, making every interaction feel awkward. If she were genuinely shy, she'd be uncomfortable around new people but warm up around those she knows. But nope, we've seen her at my Kelty's party and now this one. She clings to the kids like they're emotional support animals, instead of making any effort to talk to adults. Robyn knows the Brown kids has known them for years, but at my Kelty's party, she was in the corner eavesdropping in the doorway instead of chatting with them. Why? Because she has no idea how to be social. It's not about shyness. It's about her complete lack of social grace. And now we see her daughters following suit, skipping every opportunity to interact. Because, surprise, they also don't know how to be friendly with people outside a structured setting. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to see Robyn without the cameras for once, just interacting with someone she trusts? What would she be like if she could just be herself without the whole world watching? Is she awkward only on camera? Has the constant criticism over the years paralyzed her with fear of making things worse? Or is she just a person who has learned to keep up walls around anyone who isn't her kid? If Robyn really wants to win us over, how about showing us a real happy moment with someone who isn't her own flesh and blood? Give us a glimpse of Robyn having fun. Maybe during a low-stakes moment like a shopping spree or something. I honestly wonder if she's capable of having a carefree, playful relationship without all the baggage. Because let's be real, everything they've shown us so far is Robyn crying, manipulating, or complaining. If she were truly shy, would we be seeing all this? It feels weird to say you're shy, but then show all your vulnerable worst moments for the world to see. That's not shy. That's something else. And on the whole, lack of social skills thing. I'm not sure I completely agree. I think Robyn is reserved, sure, but not because of anxiety or social ineptitude. I think Robyn actively chooses not to interact, because frankly, she doesn't care about anyone who isn't her biological child. Well, except my Kelty and Tony, but even that's a stretch. Robyn acts superior to everyone else. She has anxiety, but it's not about her social life. It's probably more about money or maybe abandonment issues. She's just not invested in anyone else. And it shows. Honestly, Kody's attempt to rewrite history here is laughable. By finally admitting he only loves Robyn, he's just confirming everything the other wives, the kids, and the public have been saying for years. Kody spent all his time and energy on Robyn and her kids, leaving the others in the dust. Now Robyn gets caught in a lie. She can't escape. She's not some innocent victim of neglect. She's not confused about why the others feel left out, and she sure as hell isn't pushing Kody to repair those relationships. She's just doing her best to stay in the spotlight. And now, Kody's dumb enough to try and sell this narrative of Robyn as pretty and shy. News / it's too late for that. Way too late. I used to think Mary's legal divorce was just Kody and Robyn's sneaky way of sticking it to Janelle and Christine. The whole storyline about it being for the adoption of Robyn's kids never really made sense to me. It seemed like a convenient excuse, a story to guilt Janelle and Christine into accepting it without complaining. And at that time, I figured Mary didn't care anyway. She had her online love interest and probably planned to leave Kody at some point. But after watching the last couple of seasons where Mary clings to Kody despite him clearly telling her he doesn't love or want her anymore, I've had a change of heart now. I really believe the legal divorce wasn't Mary's idea at all. It was totally orchestrated by Kody and Robyn. They knew Mary would do anything for Kody, especially if she thought it would win back his affection, and they played on that. When I think about how she trusted them not to screw her over with the property situation, it hits me that this was probably her exact mindset. When they convinced her to divorce, they made her believe it was just a technicality. Nothing to worry about, especially when they promised they'd never hurt the other wives. Of course, that's exactly what happened. I always thought the show made it seem like the divorce was Mary's idea. But I never bought that for a second. It was Kody and Robyn manipulating her into giving up any perceived power she had, except, of course, she didn't really have any. They weren't sticking it to Janelle and Christine, they were sticking it to Mary. And they did it under the guise of doing it for the kids. The whole catfish debacle came after the divorce, and I'm sure it was a wake-up call for Mary, realizing just how much her family treated her like crap. Still, she went back probably because she thought God and her mom wanted her to, which honestly gives off strong cult vibes. The moment she stepped outside the family, she was publicly humiliated and privately she was shunned. And yet she doubled down on loyalty. It's hard not to wonder if the legal divorce was Kody's way of removing Mary's claim on him. Her power, if you can even call it that. He melted the ring she gave him so she wouldn't have any added claim over him, and it was clear that Mary took pride in her marriage certificate, almost like a trophy or accomplishment, keeping it on her wall for everyone to see by taking that away. Kody stripped her of whatever sense of control or importance she thought she had in the relationship. The whole adoption excuse could have just been a cover. Honestly, if Kody had just legally divorced Mary and stayed single, making everyone equal, I'd have been fine with that. But he needed a stronger reason to get married to agree, which meant convincing her to give him the status of head wife with Robyn. The whole thing reeks of manipulation, and it makes me wonder just how much Mary was in the dark about all of it. So, can someone please ask Milk Kitty this? Anyone on her Patreon feel free to chime in. Where on earth are Aurora and Brianna during Gwen's bridal shower? And my Kelty's baby shower? I mean, are they hiding somewhere, refusing to be on camera in school, off doing church activities? Or I don't know, just living their best lives while avoiding the drama? Seriously, I'm so curious. When I was in my 20s, my cousins who were around the same age were always having major life events. I was always at their showers and parties because you know that's what family does. So what's the deal here? Why aren't they at these events? Is it some big mystery? Then there's Robyn, who loves to say that the family rejected her and her kids, but shockingly, she won't even bring them to family events where literally everyone else is showing up, including a bunch of little kids. Now, if I were in her shoes, I'd make sure my kids were at every single family event. I'd be there, and so would they, no matter what anyone else thought, because I mean, how else would you make sure your kids feel included, right? But Robyn, she's the one creating the distance and that us versus them vibe. She's the one pulling her kids out of the family picture. And don't even get me started on that TikTok clip. Tony says they didn't come because it wasn't safe. Really? But my Kelty is over here saying it's probably because there was alcohol being served. So basically my Kelly doesn't know. But hey, let's just throw out some excuses and pretend like we have a clue. Classic. I was rewatching season 18 because you know who doesn't love revisiting all that drama. And of course, as always happens, you catch things you missed the first time. Robyn had that classic line, "I speak Cody." It's like her personal catchphrase for letting everyone know she's the only one who truly understands the great Kody Brown. Christine and Janelle, understandably, are a little put off by this because, spoiler alert, they were married to him way longer than Robyn. But it's something Janelle says that really makes you pause. Apparently, Robyn would tell not only the wives, but also the adult children. "I speak Cody." She said it like it was some divine skill, as if her ability to decipher his every mood was this grand talent. Like, okay, Robyn, sure, you're definitely not just a control freak. Let's talk about Mary's clothing business move, because Robyn's intervention in that conversation was peak manipulation. When Mary told Kody she was moving her business up to her B&B, she had to first tell Robyn why. Oh, because Robyn needed to be there, why? Because naturally she speaks Kody. Like, why would Mary trust Kody with this information on her own when Robyn could be there watching the scene unfold like a hawk? And Robyn wasn't just there for moral support. No, no, no. She was literally controlling the conversation. At one point, she looks at Mary and goes, "Tell him the rest, Mary. Tell him the other part." And it's just like, excuse me, but no one asked you to be the middleman here. It's so uncomfortable to watch Robyns not even pretending to let Kody think for himself. Then the tell-all moment where Christine talks about that personality test they all took while in Vegas. It turns out Robyn's personality type loves talking about drama, other people's drama. Of course, the OG3 all remember taking it, but Robyn, well, she suddenly doesn't remember. When the host, Suki, points it out, Robyn claims that someone must have taken the test for her. I mean, really just own it, Robyn, and stop pretending like you're above the drama when you live for it. Now let's talk about Ring 8, because who could forget that classic moment? Christine drops the bomb that Kody melted down Mary's ring, and Mary's like, "Yep, Kody did that right after meeting Robyn." Then the host tells Robyn about the meltdown, and without even a second of hesitation, Robyn goes, "Oh no. Kody melted down the ring before he met me. When I met him, he wasn't even wearing it." "Oh really, Robyn, because I distinctly remember season 1 where Kody gives you a string ring while still wearing his wedding ring." Nice try. It's like watching Robyn rewrite history in real time, and she's so bad at it. It's almost impressive. Fast forward to season 19 and the Ariella leg cling incident happens. Kody claims Robyn told him Ariella needed to feel her feelings, but then Robyn turns around and says, "Oh, I would have let Kody leave. I wasn't stopping him." Yeah, Robyn, keep rewriting the narrative. We're all buying it. TLDDR. Robyn is a classic control freak who has to know everything about everyone's relationship with Kody because she's got to make sure she's either the victim or the hero. If she's not well, she just rewrites history or pretends she doesn't remember. Oh, and let's not forget how shy she is, right? Because nothing says shy like manipulating Kody and everyone else around you. I'm pretty sure she convinced Christine and Mary that if they told her anything about Kody, she would help. Instead, she just used their secrets against them. Classic backstabbing mistress move. Kody and Mary's session with Nancy in episode 14 of season 14 is just pure gold. If you love watching a man completely dodge accountability and throw his partner under the bus for the first 5 minutes. Okay, who am I kidding? More like 10. Kody spent the entire time blaming Mary for why their relationship is stuck in neutral. First, it's, well, she misses what we used to have, as if they could somehow go back in time and hit rewind on the whole thing. Then, of course, the classic. She's too sensitive, and my personal favorite. The most ridiculous of all. Why does she have so many friends? Yes, because that's the real issue here. Mary's social circle. Not, the complete lack of effort and respect Kody's putting into this marriage. So Nancy, probably trying to get some actual progress, asks if they're willing to dig deeper and confront each other. And Kody, with a straight face, says, "After the last year and a half I've had, I'm not up for any criticism." NY's response: "Are you serious?" And honestly, I would have asked the same thing if I were her. This moment right here is the embodiment of Kody's entire mindset. I'm never wrong, and I will not accept any kind of criticism, ever. This, folks, is the perfect example of why polygamous men like Kody are often total jerks. They sit back while the women do everything. Housework jobs, raising kids, lawn work, and then Kody rides in like a knight in shining armor, ready to be praised for doing the bare minimum. And when it comes to the emotional labor or taking responsibility for how their wives feel, nope, not Kody. The women are the ones responsible for earning his love or getting blamed when he doesn't love them enough. Accountability. That's a foreign concept for him. Watching Kody berate Mary, then immediately turn around and refuse any criticism, especially when he's the one critiquing her for having a life outside of him, is just ridiculous. She's not glued to her house waiting for Kody to waltz in and save the day. Her kid's grown. Of course, she has to find something to do with herself. And then people wonder why they didn't get anywhere in therapy with Nancy. Here's the thing. You have Kody, who's immediately on the defensive, treating every session like it's him against the world, like he's the only one with legitimate complaints. Or, as we saw in this episode, he flat out refuses to engage. It's hard to make any progress when the person who should be leading this family isn't willing to do the hard work. Same goes for the women. Their broken relationships with each other caused problems in their marriages and the family, but none of them were truly ready to dig in and address the real issues. They just scratched the surface, and that's about it. The best therapist in the world can't work. Miracles each person has to be willing to reflect, compromise, be accountable, and do the work if they want to move forward. Frankly, I think Nancy gets a bad rap. The Browns weren't invested enough in the process, and Kody definitely seemed to think showing up was all it took. Spoiler alert, it's not. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. And much love to you all.